important jewelry designers are letter M to R. Marina B. Marina Bulgari was born in Rome in 1930, the daughter of the renowned jeweler Costantino Bulgari. From an early age, she began learning from her father all the intricacy and secrets of the art of jewelry making. After his death in 1973, she continued working in the family business until she broke away in 1979, setting up her own firm in Geneva under the name Marina B. Ever-increasing success and international reputation has led her to open a shop in Monte Carlo and in 1986 another in Madison Avenue, New York. Designed by Guy Aulenti and Milan in 1989. Among her distinctive pieces are chokers sprung to fit perfectly the contours of the neck, reversible earrings where a minute hinge mechanism allows the day earring to be converted in a dazzling evening piece, the novel cut for gemstones known as the Marina B cut, which consists of a heart-shaped stone without the indentation. All Marina B's jewelry are characterized by bold modern lines, by a great sense of volume and color, where precious and semi-precious stones are magnificently combined. Her pieces are commonly signed Marina B or with her initials MB. Massin, Oscar. Born in 1829, retired from business in 1890. After an apprenticeship in Liège, Oscar Massin moved to Paris in 1851, where he worked for the 3 years for Festa, using the rounded and spiky shapes of flowers and leaves. In 1854, he moved to Rouvenat, and soon after to Viette, where he made the diadem worn by the Empress Eugene at the opening of the Exposition Universelle of 1855. After 18 months in London studying English jewelry, he returned to Paris, where he joined Totis and developed a more naturalistic and botanically accurate style. His floral compositions have great lightness and perfection. In 1863, refusing an attractive proposal to work in London, in New York for Tiffany, he opened his own shop in Paris. His designs of the 1860s are characterized by realistic leaves and flowers, combined with ribbon bows, feathers, ears of wheat, and rainfalls of diamonds. Between 1865 and 1870, he produced large, long-pendant earrings with articulated cascades of diamonds on very light mount that moved and reflected light at each movement of the head. Around 1865, he perfected his mounts, reducing to the minimum an intrusion of the satin metal, and thus becoming a pioneer of the monture illusion. He also perfected the techniques of pompiel and tremblant decoration, imitated by jewelers throughout Europe until the end of the century. His success at the 1867 exhibition was enormous, and he retained his leading position until he retired in 1892. For his superb workmanship, his sure taste, and his innovations, he can be considered the principal reformer of 19th century jewelry. Maboussin. Maboussin was founded in 1827 by Mr. Rocher and his cousin Baptiste Nouri. In 1850, Nouri succeeded him in 1876, took into partnership his nephew Georges Maboussin. The later in turn succeeded him in 1896, taking as a partner his cousin Marcel Goulet Maboussin. The escalating success of the firm prompted the two cousins to move from the original site of 64 Rue Birepire, the present Rue Grenta, to larger premises at 3 Rue de Choiseul, where it occupied an entire building with showroom, offices, and workshops. Since the early 1920s, Georges Maboussin has been aware of the importance of increasing foreign presence. Phillips. Robert Phillips was one of the most prominent jewelers in London, working in the revivalist style. His shop was located at 31 Oxford Street. He took part of the Paris exhibition in 1867, where his jewels set with coral imported from southern Italy and those in archaeological revival style has a great success. Under the influences of Sir Austin Henry Layard, excavation at Nineveh, he particularly drawn to Assyrian art. He also designed jewels in Scandinavian taste and often mounted antique engraved gems in his jewel. Robert Phillips died in 1881, and by 1895, the ownership of the firm has passed to Alfred Phillips of 23 Cockspur Street, who entered at a goldsmith hall a Mark AP. Alfred Phillips had joined his father and uncle in business in 1869. It is legitimate, therefore, to assume that the partnership accounts for the subsequent use of the Mark consisting of two pieces set back to back. The company ceased to trade in 1902. Picasso, Paloma. Paloma Picasso was born in Paris in 1949. Her father was Pablo Picasso and her mother Francois Gillot. Paloma spent her childhood in the south of France, was educated in Paris and attended University of Paris, Nanterre. In 1969, after she completed her formal training in jewelry design and goldsmithing, Yves Saint Laurent presented a collection of her costume jewelry. In 1972-73, Paloma Picasso designed gold jewelry for Zolotas. In 1973, when her father died, she devoted much of her time to assembling the collection for the Musée Picasso, which opened in Paris in 1983. Later, Paloma Picasso resumed her initial vocation of jewelry designer, and in 1980 presented a collection for Tiffany & Co. The Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago acquired for their permanent collection a bracelet by Picasso set with 408 and 63 carats of moonstones decorated with lightning bolt. Paloma Picasso's jewelry may be distinguished for her generous scale and color, often unexpected, exploited as well as large, highly polished surfaces of precious metals, and among her favorite motifs are lightning bolts. Currently, she continues to design for Tiffany and spends her time between Paris and New York. Paloma Picasso jewels are signed either Picasso in capitals or with her own signature, followed by Tiffany & Co. Pierret, Ernesto Pierret, born and educated in Paris, moved to Rome in the mid-1840s. By 1857, he was settled in his shop at 31 Piazza Firenze. He subsequently moved to 36 Via della Umiltà and finally to 20 Piazza di Spagna. He worked in archaeological revival style, though in a less derivative manner than Castellani. His jewels are always well finished and show considerable mastery of all the goldsmith technique. He frequently used fine quality mosaics, intaglios, and ancient coins in his creation. He also mastered the art of enameling. Pierret usually signed his pieces either with his name in full or less frequently with elaborate monogram AP within a shield. At some point, his business was taken over by Louis Pierret, presumably a son who exhibited jewelry in the archaeological style at the Turin exhibition in 1884. The name of the firm disappears from Roman directories and guidebooks in 1890. Repossi. The firm of Repossi was founded in Turin in the 1920s by Costantino Repossi, who began his activity first as designer and manufacturer of jewels for other imported Italian firms. Rapid success soon enabled him to open his own outlet so that he could sell directly to the public. Costantino's sons Paolo and Alberto followed their father's step. Paolo became responsible for the cutting of the precious gemstones, and Alberto for design. Alberto traveled for 3 years in the Far East to learn more about selecting and buying precious gemstones. On one of his trips, he came across a Burmese Buddha, which since became the symbol of the firm's attachment to Oriental art and culture. On 1877, Alberto, with the support of his future wife, Gio, opened the first shop outside Italy in the Hermitage Hotel of Masin. Soon after, the young couple opened other shops abroad. In 1979, a second outlet in Monaco at the Hotel de Paris, in 1918 Kuwait, and later in Paris at 6 Policeman Dome, one of the most renowned locations in the world of Hotel Joliet. Alberto Repossi's designs are simple, devoid of superfluous lines, where carefully selected stones are set in unique mounts. And today that's all we wanted to discuss. Stay tuned for future podcasts. Goodbye.